From Del Mar to Middletown, Bombay Hook to the Brandywine, Dover to Wilmington. This is the Caesar Rodney Institute Policy Podcast. Today, CRI Communications Director Sam Friedman talks with David Stevenson, Policy Director of the Center for Energy Competitiveness here at the Caesar Rodney Institute, about how the poor are paying the rich for alternative energy schemes. Here's Sam.
Now, Dave, you're one of the few people in the country who's actually read the Clean Power Plan. What is wrong with this plan, in your opinion?
Pretty much everything. The original plan they came out with in 2014, I found 15 major flaws in the assumptions, which turned the whole thing upside down. But again, it goes back to the carbon tax. The entire reason for the Clean Power Plan is President Obama wanted a national carbon tax. At the time, in 2000, I think it was 2010, he had a supermajority in the Senate, supermajority in the House. They wouldn't pass a national carbon tax. The Democrats would not pass a national carbon tax because they knew it would be destructive for the economy. The president was unhappy with that. He put in an executive order, another piece of executive overreach, with the idea that the EPA would come up with regulations that would force each individual state to come up with a carbon tax. So it was a backdoor way into getting a national carbon tax. But in the meantime, what I did was take a look at where some of the flaws are in this thing. And there are many and numerous. One of the first problems being the reason that people want to reduce carbon dioxide is to reduce global warming. Well, we take a look at the goal of this plan, the target of this plan, and you can plug it into a carbon dioxide calculation program that shows that it's going to have essentially zero impact on global warming. It's not saving enough carbon dioxide to do anything. So that's problem number one. And even Gina McCarthy, who runs the EPA, admitted this before Congress, that it's not going to change anything. In fact, the primary reason she states that we needed this carbon plan was so other countries would negotiate carbon reductions in a conference this fall at the United Nations.
You have an article that's now up on our website, Why Are the Poor Paying the Rich? And just recently, Richard Branson came out. He said he wants to see the world power itself on windmills and solar farms by 2050. He's calling for an end to subsidies for dirty fuels, end to oil drilling in the Arctic, and a coal and carbon tax. What is wrong with the whole scheme, and are the poor really paying the rich?
Well, they really are. University of California, Berkeley, which is about as left-wing as you can get, just finished a study that shows that almost all of the tax and state subsidies that are available for wind and solar power are going to the rich. And guess where the money comes from? It comes from taxes and it comes from utility bills. So you've got fairly poor and middle class paying higher electric bills. For example, in Delaware, we're paying about an extra $125 a year right now on power bills, so that we can pay these subsidies to the rich. Now, how big are these subsidies? We're talking tens of thousands of dollars. You go buy a Chevy Volt for $34,000 in Delaware right now, you'll get $10,000 in federal and state subsidies. You put up a $23,000 solar facility on your roof, you'll get over the lifetime of that $21,000 in federal and state subsidies, and plus you get your electricity essentially for free. So only the wealthy can come up with that $23,000 that they need up front. The poor can't do that. The subsidies come after the fact, after you spent the money. And you also have to have a high enough tax bill that the tax credits mean anything to you. If you're poor, you're not paying taxes. Tax credits are worthless to you. But your power bill just went up $125, and the problem with that is we're not done. If we continue down the path we're already headed based on the law in Delaware, we'll see that $125 go to $250 a year. So very much so, the poor are paying for these programs. And again, when you do the calculation, there is essentially no impact on global warming. We're doing this for nothing.
Dave, how can listeners get involved with anything that you're doing besides going to the CRA website?
Well, they really do need to get to that website. They need to keep up with what's going on. We're the only ones putting that information out. For example, you've heard the Pope say that he thinks we ought to get rid of fossil fuels as quickly as possible and reduce carbon. What you didn't hear the Pope say was he's against carbon taxes because they bring in speculators. They don't really do anything to change things. So you don't hear those kinds of things. But you'll hear that if you go to the CRI website. The other thing is, we need financial support to keep CRI going. So you need to visit the website to make a donation. But the other thing is to, keep up with your legislators. Tell them what you're seeing. Tell them you don't like these laws. We need support to change some of these things.
That was David Stevenson, Policy Director of the Center for Energy Competitiveness here at the Caesar Rodney Institute. You've been listening to the Caesar Rodney Institute Impact Delaware Policy Podcast. Visit our website, caesarrodney.org, for the latest columns, such as Dave's latest on the poor paying the rich, and events on issues affecting you. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out our episode archive. I'm Sam Friedman. Thanks for joining us, and have a great rest of your day.